What's going on, Geeks? You're listening to episode 341 of Geeks Under Grace podcast. My name is Cody Armour. I'm here with Lj.Lowery.
Yo!
And Shelley Nollan.
Hello.
And this week, we're geeking out about finally getting a TMNT game.
Yes.
We have them, but like a AAA TMNT game.
The last one we had was the Platinum game.
Anyway. What?
Like a real game. A Hulk-size reveal for Captain America 4. Pun is intended. And info on season 5 of one of our favorite shows. If you listen to the podcast, you might have some guesses. But if you don't, you'll just have to wait to the end of the podcast to find out. Mm-hmm. Before we do that, we'll get into the video games that we've been playing. I've got a weird one, so I'll go last. I'll probably rant on it too long. Go ahead, LJ.
Yeah, so I played quite a few things. First, I have had some time with the Steam Deck.
Yes.
It's really nice. Some games, new and older, feel like they were just straight up made for this thing. I don't know why that is. But just like, I played something like Sonic Lost World on there. And I was like, wow, this feels like really, I was like, I didn't expect this to fit. I've played other indies like Fights in Tight Spaces that are really good. Mm-hmm. I've played older games like the TMNT game I just mentioned, and I'm just like, there's some games that are feel like, they still work and they're still playable, but they just don't feel like 100%. But then there's other games that just feel like they're made for this thing, and I'm just like, I don't know how they did it. It's total magic. I don't really have to do much tweaking. There's even games on there that technically aren't verified because the verified system is very, loose, kind of. Like, there are games that are very much playable that just might have minor issues. But you can sort through that in your Steam library. And there's also ways to look that up, like PhotonDB, I think Jamie recommended. That can kind of tell you what games work and how well they work. And so it's really nice. It's really cool. I was able to download Spotify on my Steam Deck, so I can listen to Spotify while I play my fighting games and stuff.
Ayo. I haven't done that yet, but that's so smart.
It's neat. I was like, this is cool. It's kind of rough at first, like when you launch it. Like, it just feels like it shouldn't work, but I'm like, it's kind of nice. It does.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's really cool. If you can ever invest in one, and like I said, I think I want this to be my backlog machine. That's what I want.
Yeah, that was what I do too. Is I just use it as it's because it just makes so much more convenient to play any game on Steam, right?
Yep.
You just take it anywhere.
I'd rather play. There's a lot of games I'd rather play. I can't play a lot of them on my TV. I don't really like to sit at my desk and play PC games a lot. So I'm like, well, I'll just play on my deck, on my couch, or on my bed, or wherever.
It's perfect.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. So yeah, if you have a sizable Steam library, I think that the Steam Deck is a great tool to take down some of those games that have been sitting there for forever.
And also so many of those games are cloud saved.
Yes,
and that makes it a lot easier too. Because if you're someone like me who's like, oh well, maybe I'll play it on PC, on my computer, having the option, it's just even having the option of being able to play it either place is so nice. Being able to just play Stardew Valley. I'm more used to it on my desktop. But then having the option to just hop on and show someone my farm, right?
Yep.
Even if it's not my preferred method, just being able to have it, it's so nice.
Yeah, I was able to pick up where I left off in Fights in Tight Spaces pretty well because, through those roguelikes, they have a lot of progress and, little things that you can progress in. So it's nice to just carry that over. Cloud saves are legit. They're there. I can't say enough good things about it. It's pretty awesome so far. The other thing I did play some Resident Evil 4 Remake, which is really solid.
The big release this week.
And so it's one of those things where I was going to wait on it, but it was getting such good reviews that I'm just like, okay, I got to check it out.
I'll just go for it.
It's good. I can't really, I don't know, it's still Resident Evil 4, but just the quality of life improvements are really good on it. And the changes they have made. It reminds me of playing the Dead Space remake recently, which feels like every change they've made is meaningful, and the ways they've improved it is super meaningful too. So I really think we're getting into a golden age of remakes happening here. It's really nice, and it's not just a remaster or an HD. It's genuine work from the ground up, and so I think if this trend keeps going, I think it'll be cool.
Do you worry? movies have passed the golden age of remakes.
Yeah, I would agree.
Do you think that'll happen with video games at some point, or do you?
I think if you do them right, so don't just I guess where what we're talking about later is Disney is just, I feel like Disney started off well with their remakes, right? Where they were switching some things up, keeping things the same, but I just feel like a lot of these Disney remakes are carbon copies lately. So if these remakes end up being like carbon copies, it almost
is like an HD resolution upgrade.
Yes,
in a video game comparison.
Say what you want, but Final Fantasy,
shaders.
Like Final Fantasy VII Remake, I think was a huge change because it's going to get a lot of people to experience that story. Even though a lot of the hardcore fans are like, "Oh no, I want my turn-based combat back," or "I want this back."
It makes me think of too. Even like Witcher 3, that was a full just revamp, an entire revamp of that game, and also the difference between that versus re-releasing Skyrim for the 15th time, right?
Yes,
there's a difference. It feels like what Disney's doing is, even though yes, they genuinely are putting in a lot of work to make it look different. We're going to be talking about Lion King, for example. Lion King, 2D animation versus the kind of live action CGI thing they're going. Obviously, that is different, but story wise and the heart of it feels very similar. I feel like that just makes me think of Skyrim re-releasing Skyrim over and over. It's the same energy, even though the difference in effort, it is a different difference in effort. But whereas there's a lot of heart put into Final Fantasy VII or these Resident Evil remakes, or even the Witcher 3 sort of revamp. So I think you're right though. But who knows? I don't know if maybe it could get too far. I feel like if there's any, I know I wasn't the one you asked. I know you asked LJ, but
No,
I was just going to say, I feel like the only way one of the ways I suppose they can get too far is if we see too many re-releases or too many remakes for games. I even think The Last of Us, that sort of started that question of when do we remake these games? Is it depending on the year? Is it depending on the hardware? Is it depending on kind of whatever? But I think that was sort of the first question of oh, actually, I don't know if we need this kind of ground up remake. I don't know if that's something that we need. And obviously a lot of people love those remakes, or the remake for the first game at least. So obviously it still did a good job, but I think that's sort of when the question comes in, is if we're going to start remaking these games that are arguably don't need to be remade. And that is going to happen because games right now are really, really good, but in 20 years, will they hold up? Will they not? It's kind of hard to say because of how technology is right now. Anyway.
Yeah, and it's funny because we're talking about Resident Evil 4 has had a ton of ports to everything. It was even on iPhone. It was even on iPhone at one point. So Resident Evil 4 is very close to Skyrim in that it's been on everything. It's been ridiculous. It's worth it though, and I think The Last of Us remake is worth it. I just don't think it's $70 worth it. If you sold it for $50, maybe I could see that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think the two questions that I would ask is the experience different and is the experience better?
Yes.
Because obviously, I would even say if the experience is better but it's not that different, then you don't need a remake. Just update the original game, which we can just do now. But if the experience can be different and better, then why not?
Oh yeah.
Why not?
There are definitely a lot of things.
Because then it's a different game at that point. Final Fantasy VII is an amazing example of that.
Yeah.
If it's just quality of life things and the experience isn't all that different, then it's kind of then I'm not saying the story has to be different, but just your gameplay experience in playing it. Are you experiencing something new?
They added stealth, which is kind of cool. You can actually knives are breakable now apparently, but you still have your main knife. But I can literally go through an area in Resident Evil 4 and sneak up on one of the infected villagers and just take them out like that, or from behind, without alerting anything. Something like that's cool. I never knew Resident Evil 4 could, or any Resident Evil could benefit from stealth. But I'm it makes sense because the villagers are kind of a bit tougher than normal zombies too. So that's kind of a neat mechanic they added. I'm whoa, Leon can crouch now. I'm just this is crazy. Anyway, but yeah, it's good. The other thing I do want to mention. I got into no double down needed. I got into the Diablo 4 beta.
You didn't get to get the double down.
yeah. So there was the open beta. Amongst playing with my brother, my brother and I played a ton of SD Gundam Battle Alliance, but we also played Diablo 4 beta, and I think Diablo 4 is going to be really cool. I know, if people still, I know there's probably people that still have problems with Blizzard and all that. But if you're a Diablo fan, I think this game is going to be really cool. They tried to add a level of cinematic, like a level of like cinematography and kind of like immersion to the story in this, because there's times where you're going to see your character up close, and there's like cutscenes that are going to play out in game, not just like at the end of each chapter or whatever. It's a really fun game, I think, so far. So Diablo 4 wasn't really something that was super huge on my radar, but now it is. The open beta was fun, so that's it.
Cool.
Yeah.
What about you, Shelley?
So, I don't know if I talked about Patch Quest last week. I genuinely don't remember. But I'm still playing it. I bought it. I'm playing it because it was on sale, and I was interested. And it's
I think you grabbed it after we recorded, I think.
I think so. I think it was either that night or the night after, because it's like it's already been a while.
Yeah.
But either way, so it's a pretty new game, and it's like this crazy mix of like it's a roguelike, it's a bullet hell shooter, it's like top down, it's a monster collector. It's kind of has like this like place at like you have this home base that you can sort of customize a little bit too. So it's like a mix of all these different things, and I'm not necessarily passionate about bullet hell, I would say, but like it has a mix of a lot of stuff I like in games.
Nice.
And so I picked it up, and I do like it. Definitely feels like a new game. Like it definitely feels like there's still some like updates or some things that they kind of need to polish a little bit. Whether or not they will, I don't know, because I don't think it's actually like in beta or anything. I just think it's pretty new, but I like it so far, and it's still pretty fun. I think right now I'm a little lost on like what I need to be kind of like doing. It is kind of a hard game too, since I had one original goal, and now that I've done that goal, now the next goal just seems like quite difficult. But that's okay. It's advertised as a hard game too, so that's fine. But it is fun. You basically what you do is you go out into this world that's it's called Patch Quest because the world is like made of different like patches. It kind of looks like you're on like this giant like quilt maybe.
Cool.
It's sort of this vibe that they're going for, and you run around, you have this you have a gun, and you have a lasso, and you can lasso monsters and ride them and befriend them and take them home and like keep them, or you could just ride on them and get further into exploring, and use your gun to shoot to take out other monsters and enemies and things like that. But all the monsters have like very specific abilities that they give you. There's like a defense skill, an offense skill. There's another skill that they have. There's like 4 skills, right? There's like 4 skills that they have. And they're all pretty unique and cool for each monster. And so it's been a while since I've been at least in Pokemon, I've never really been one to catch them all. But in this game, I feel like I kind of want to catch them all. Like, I kind of want to get one of everyone. So, and there's different, like, areas. There's, like a forest area, a desert area, a water area. I'm trying to remember the 4th area. It's, like, fiery, or I think. Yeah, like fire and stuff. But it's really cute, and it's pretty fun so far. I feel like I almost wish that they went a little bit harder in some of the aspects. Part of me almost feels like they just like threw in all of these different things that I like, but like just kind of on a shallow level and not like didn't go deep enough. But I think maybe I just haven't played the game enough yet. I think I just need to keep going. But as I play it more, the more I like it. And so I do like it, and it is cute. And if you like any of those things that I mentioned, look it up on Steam. It's pretty cheap right now, if I remember. And again, it is a new game, so kind of just keep that in mind. But reviews are really good right now. And I do think it's just going to keep getting better. It seems like the kind of game where they're going to just kind of keep updating it with like new areas, new monsters, maybe even having DLC. I don't know. But it seems fun. And there's like this cool thing that unfortunately doesn't work on the I was going to say Switch, but I mean Deck, because I've been playing it on the Steam Deck. Of course, since we're talking about the Steam Deck. And there's like this Discord integration feature where you can connect your Discord, and on the Discord of the developer, you like get certain roles for doing certain things, which I think is super cool, but I've just been playing on the Steam Deck and it doesn't load. Like it literally is like, cannot find Windows file. And I'm like, yep, that's because I don't have Discord on the thing. And I honestly, I could almost definitely probably install Discord on it. I just haven't. I don't know if it would work. I have no clue. You know, it's not Windows. It's not a Windows machine. So anyway, that's just a cool option, especially if you're going to be playing on PC.
That's unique, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I've been playing that. It's just a good like sort of time killer.
Nice.
And it's sort of quick to just kind of hop on and like do a round or two, which is cool. As are most roguelikes, right? So, but then I also finally got Persona 3 Portable, and I finally started it, and because I was watching one of my friends play Persona 5 this weekend, and I'm like, you know what? I think it's time. I get Persona 3.
Back into Persona, yeah.
Because, one, it was on sale, and two, I told myself I was going to wait for patches or mods to come out before getting it, because I needed to... Basically, I've been talking about it a couple times on the podcast, how the port, they just totally botched it. They just messed it up for a number of reasons.
Yeah.
And so I was basically waiting for them to fix it with patches or for modders to be able to create mods to fix those things. And thankfully, there's mods out. So I was able to get those mods on there, which was a little bit more interesting than I thought it was going to be. It's a little bit more steps to take for the Steam Deck specifically. So I basically had to combine like Steam Deck instructions with PC instructions, like Windows instructions, like kind of figure it out. But I was able to. And,
get those files in there. Nice.
Yeah, so I got a mod to fix the music, so the music actually sounds fine. Because I guess the music they have low quality versions of the music, which sucks because it's Persona and you want to hear the really good music. So the music sounds good now. I got something to fix some of the battle audio because just a lot of the sound bites and a lot of like effects that they threw in there also just sound really bad. Unfortunately, I don't think there's a fix out there for dialogue, but the dialogue also does sound it sounds pretty crunchy. And then most importantly, I think, is I got a mod that puts in all of the cutscenes from FES, which is huge because like people loved the cutscenes from that. It's because they're like nice anime style cutscenes, very similar, reminiscent to Persona 4 and Persona 5. So I was really hopeful to get that. People are like, oh, this like these really big moments, like they do not hit as hard just looking at it on the screen, like, and not an anime cutscene. So I was able to get that too, which was great. And I'm glad it all works. I'm just glad it all works because I've never modded like I've had modded games before, but I've never modded like a non-emulated game. I've never modded like a Steam game on the Steam Deck. So I'm glad I got that figured out. But anyway, cool. So I'm finally playing Persona 3 and I'm really excited about that. But yeah.
Nice.
So I'm super excited. Not a video game, but I built, and we talked about it on the podcast. I feel terrible about built a D&D one-shot 3 years ago.
I remember you mentioning something.
I think so, yeah.
And then you never got to play it, yeah.
And then it never happened. COVID happened, and it just kind of fell through. And so I have some friends at work that were wanting to play, and I was like, I do have a one-shot made, just kind of, sitting in Google Docs.
Yeah.
And I had way more of it built than I realized. Like, we really had just about everything. We had to adapt a little bit of it.
Yeah, because you were, like, ready for it to play it, I remember.
Yeah, and it just didn't happen. It was terrible timing on COVID's part.
Yeah. Jeez.
But we finally got to play it, and it was a ton of fun. It was this campaign we called the Cave of Shadows, and it was the most tropey D&D campaign I could think of. I really wanted to build it out to be played in one night, but get all of the experiences that you can in D&D in one sitting.
Ooh.
And so it was... They find potions, and then they find like this potion monster, and they found some goblins, obviously. There was the tropiest thing I think of is the acid river, and then like a pillar that you have to drop down to get like across the river. And we even put a pub in the game, so they went through a portal, and the portal brought them in, and that was kind of my way of getting them some of the like town interaction. They were performers. They didn't know they were going to be supposed to be performing for this pub. The pub was mad because they were like an hour late to their performance, and had to get up and perform different things. Then at the end, they ended up fighting themselves, shadow versions of themselves, that turned into an incredibly nerfed dragon. It was a super nerfed dragon.
Yeah. Yeah.
But just for the epicness of it, they started with a level 2 character. They, right before the end of it, got to level up to level 3, so they could kind of experience what it was like to level up. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was really, really cool.
Heck yeah.
I was a little nervous. Me and my wife DM'd together, and that was really fun.
Oh, sweet.
That is cool.
Yeah, and I think it worked really well. It was kind of hard when, like, if you need to make decisions on the fly, you gotta just kind of trust each other's decisions. And luckily, we were able to do that pretty well.
That's
it
good.
does kind of make a challenge where you gotta, like, someone says something, and you can't argue with them about it because the other people, like, the players can hear you, so you would give something away if you talk about the campaign. But she's really, really good with the numbers and things, and I don't think I would have done very well with keeping the initiative orders and the attack orders and stuff, and, like, the HP and things. She was doing an amazing job with that.
That's awesome.
So a lot of ways I kind of built the campaign, and then she really played it out. And then anytime they would kind of go off scripts, I would kind of work the improv stuff in.
That's a fun way to do that.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's
it worked
so
out
fun.
really well.
That's cool.
That's always how it starts, though. It started with that with me. Oh, I have a one-shot idea, guys. Who wants to play? Everyone plays it, and you start getting that itch. Oh, I could do this again. Oh, I could do a longer one-shot. I could do a multiple shot. I could do a campaign. So you're gonna get the bug, I bet. I wonder.
Yeah. What's crazy is, like, I had fun DMing. I really want to play. I don't... Like, DMing was cool. And
That's
everyone
true.
is like, you gotta go DM again. I've got a character that I want to play as. And... Seven Deadly Sins, very Escanor-esque. And
Neat.
yeah, I have it kind of. I've built it out 2 ways. I would just whatever DM I actually play with to do that.
Yeah.
But they all of them except one of them was like, so when are we playing again? And I was like, I don't know. It's gonna be a few months at the very least.
Yeah.
I gotta make the time.
Yeah.
The summer is so busy for me. So what I told them today is to build their characters, and then give me their backstories as soon as possible, like within the next month. And I was like, if I'm inspired enough to make a campaign
Nice.
with your backstories,
Let's
then
go.
we'll do it.
That's cool.
Let's go.
And if not, at least I have something to do. And I can take those characters to another D&D campaign or something.
Yeah, it's fun.
But
Wow.
it was good. It was a lot of fun.
Heck yeah.
That's awesome.
I've got a picture of the dragon on my Instagram. We didn't take very many pictures, but the plan of it, the original idea to do it was for a worship team at my church. And they were a bunch of people. The worship pastor is he wants to be nerdy. He's not super nerdy. He's gotten into kind of video games. He was talking about magic cards, and we were like, stay away from magic cards because you don't have the time.
Oh, that's a rabbit
Magic
hole.
Gather. You don't have the money. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you don't have the time or money or, yeah.
You're a worship pastor. You may want to just stay away.
Yeah.
And so he almost never has time to like really sit down with you. He couldn't commit to a weekly thing or even a monthly thing probably. So I really built it so that he could experience D&D because he wanted to. And no one else would probably give him the opportunity to. So that was kind of how we did that.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, there was one person that we played with, and I don't know if she'll want to do it again, but everyone was very surprised that she played D&D because it was not up her alley at all. So
That's awesome.
really cool to get people to play D&D that usually wouldn't.
Heck yeah. That's always it. I have one of my best friends. We started playing D&D together, actually. But, like, I don't know if it's, like, rude to say, but there is kind of, like, this stereotype for, like, who plays D&D, who doesn't. And it's usually people who are already into video games or already into, you know, a bunch of other, like, sort of geeky or nerdy things. And it's so funny because, like, this friend of mine just, like, doesn't fit any of those boxes. She never plays video games. Like, she doesn't do anything else nerdy. But she does play D&D. And like, people will literally be like, wait, you play D&D? Like, she'll mention, like, oh, I can't do it tonight. Sorry, I got Dungeons and Dragons to do.
That's awesome.
And people will get, like, really surprised. So it's just like, wait, you play Dungeons and Dragons? It's like, yeah, of course I do. Like, everybody does, right? Like,
The only thing that we could get, like, the only piece that I was like, maybe she'll enjoy this was Last Kingdom is her favorite TV show.
ooh. Ooh.
But you would never gather that talking to her unless you ask her what your favorite TV show is.
Sure.
Very closeted nerd.
Nice.
Everybody gets something they geek out about, yeah.
Everybody does, and it could be for anybody. Honestly, it could be, and it doesn't have to be for everybody, but it can be.
And she did really well too, because a lot of them were trying to be, it's their first time D&D, and they know about D&D. So when we were in combat, they were trying to get really creative with things, and she was just attacking. Because she was like, "This is a game, so I'm going to attack."
I'm gonna attack.
And so she did. Yeah, she was killing it because no one else was really attacking her. So she was, doing the most damage out of anyone. She wanted to be a queen, so we made her a queen.
Oh, cool.
And so she literally just she's like, "Can I leave them?" She's like, "It's not worth my time."
That's funny.
We're like, she's like, "I'm gonna wait outside the door while they all fight this thing."
It's almost like an anime now. You got the one female character that's important.
It was so good.
I love that.
It was fun. Anyways, that's what I did. Maybe we'll have more D&D adventures in the future. It's been years since I played. Well, I played D&D last year for a day. We did a one shot.
It would be fun though, because now you have that in your back pocket for the people that don't really play a lot. So that's your introductory campaign or your introductory one shot for people now.
Yep, exactly.
Mm-hmm. And it's not terribly long. We went longer than I thought we would, but I think you can definitely do it in a day if you start early enough. It was 6 hours of gameplay.
Okay.
And that's with people that have never played before. We're asking lots of questions, and I think 6 hours if you're starting, at in the afternoon, you just make a day of it. You can be done by the end of the night.
Yeah.
Take some rest, take some breaks.
Ooh, that reminds me of when we finished Strahd that one time. It was a long day. I mean, we were doing that for months, but that was probably the longest D&D session I did. Yeah.
My favorite session was we literally started at, I think it was 8 o'clock at night, and we stayed up until 3 or 4.
Woo.
As long as possible, and then we slept. We all stayed the night at the same house, got up, and played more D&D for another 4 or 5 hours.
So fun.
That's awesome.
Let's go.
It was so cool.
That's great.
We just basically stopped playing when we couldn't play anymore. And it was like the pledge drive, but with D&D. It was cool.
Nice.
Our poor DM, we had to stop because he was like, "Guys, I don't have anything else." He was like, "This was supposed to last you 3 months."
Wow.
That's legit.
That happens, though. Amazing. I love it.
Yeah. But we can get into the gaming news from there.
So we're still geeking out about TMNT. I could have still said Cowabunga when we opened the show, totally. I've not stopped watching it. I didn't list it in TV. I've not stopped watching it. But even more, adding fuel to this fire, Paramount, I think one of the VPs or somebody, the head of Paramount, has said that there is an adaptation of the last Ronin comic coming into video game form. They have not said
so cool.
Yeah, they have not said which AAA developer they got to do this. But it's pretty exciting. They likened it to they want it to be inspired by God of War, which I think works. Because
I totally get that.
The last Ronin, I won't say who it is just because I know Shelley wants to read it, and there's it's out there. If you really want to know, you can go look for our listeners. But there's one turtle alive out of the 4 turtles who has mastered every weapon of the turtles and has an arsenal of tools. And the way Kratos uses his axe and his blades in God of War, he uses them very much like a tool, so I think that they could work very well. I would love to see some stealth gameplay out of this, just because it's they're ninja turtles, right?
Absolutely need that.
So the stealth gameplay I think would be really cool. I've read a few pages right after this announcement. I own the comic on Comixology, and I was like, okay, I gotta start reading this a little bit. The setting is really cool. I think there's going to be a lot of references and a lot of things that fans are going to love about this. I mean, it's considered one of the best TMNT story arc ever now. So, this is still early in development. I assume. I think there's
hopefully enough time so I can actually read it because
there's no release window or anything. There's
It was just announced. I'm sure it'll be development for a while.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
That's
and
true.
there's already a Last Ronin sequel series happening right now too.
Oh.
Which kind of also, I'm kind of bummed about that because if this was its own thing, I think that would have been amazing too. So I don't know. Maybe the sequel series is good. But yeah, it's supposed to be, this Last Ronin story is supposed to be really good. And a video game.
I love the idea of God of War because they could have said it was an Arkham like.
Yeah.
And that would have read very similarly to me in gameplay.
Yeah.
But God of War, I think of story.
It's
now.
so cinematic.
God of War. Yeah.
They could literally do that like one shot style of like God of War with the camera. They could literally do Last Ronin.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's so much epicness to God of War that I think if you put that into Last Ronin, it could be really cool to see. And each of those weapons could be so specifically just highlighted.
Oh,
in
yeah.
In that style of gameplay.
Yep. And there's other ways. Oh, my gosh. If incorporated... There's certain elements of that comic that I've already seen early on. Incorporated into the game, I think would be really... It would hit. It would be hitting.
Yeah, I need to pause. I need to pause Usagi and watch and read Last Ronin.
Yes.
It's been on my list. It's just now I'm like, oh,
so
frick,
good.
I gotta do it.
There's just elements. I'm like, man, I can't wait to see that in video game form. Not much else to say. But Paramount, just a reminder, Paramount, it does own the rights to Ninja Turtles. That's why it's been on Nickelodeon for a long time. Mm-hmm. They're the ones who had to deal with Call of Duty in the past week where Shredder came to Call of Duty. I actually did not spend money on the Shredder skin because I realized I'm kind of trying to go away from the games as service model still. I even deleted Call of Duty off of my hard drive again because I thought I was going to get back into it for the Shredder skin. But yeah, so Paramount is kind of the ones that own the distribution rights to all the like TMNT media.
Yep.
Yeah, not much else to say. I'm excited. I'm still on the turtle train right now.
Yes.
They have a blimp and a van. There might as well be a train now.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm on it. And so we mentioned this early on. The last AAA. So we've had the Cowabunga collection. We've had Shredder's Revenge, but the last AAA Ninja Turtles game we got was I think it was TMNT Mutants in Manhattan, I believe, and that was done by Platinum Games.
Platinum? Yeah, I've not heard about this game.
They Platinum had a licensed team that did licensed games for a while. They did a Korra game. They did a Transformers game.
Oh, yeah.
Which are all fairly mediocre. They're not great. They're kind of meh. But yeah, so and then before that, which confused me, we had a game called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, which is what they ended up calling that movie at one point. And I'm like, wait a minute. There was already a game with that name. All those TMNT games are now delisted off of Steam. I think you can still find Mutants in Manhattan on if you can find a physical copy on PS4 or Xbox One, I think you could still get a hold of it. But they're delisted off of Steam now. And I'm glad I got them, and just because I'm that much of a geek and I'm like, these licensed games don't stay long. So, yeah, I think that's it. That's all. The other piece of gaming news that really hits home for me and also kind of gives me hope is that today Multiversus has announced that I think everybody forgot it was still technically an open beta, which is still
forgot. Weird. Yeah.
Because I tripped out because I thought they even tested ranked for a while. They took that out. But people were concerned about it because they hadn't had an update in over a month, or just any news about it. But today they announced that they are taking the game offline on June 26th. They're delisting the game from stores, I think, at the end of April. So they say you're still going to have access to the training lab and local matches. Mm-hmm. So it's for people that still want to play it, they can still play it or whatever. But they say they're basically listening to all the feedback to all the fans, and they're going to close the game until early 2024. I think it's a bold move.
That is a bold move.
This is one of my favorite. This was my favorite game of last year. I enjoyed it so much. It's what kind of helped kickstart my personal Twitch channel. And I think it's a good move because if they really take things into consideration, I think it could be something good. And they can, I liked what they already had. The player base dropped extremely low on Steam and probably wasn't much better on consoles. And so I think like if they take this time, which is going to be about 6 months, if they take 6 months and work on it and improve it, I really hope what comes out at the other end is going to be great. Because I think to me it's refreshing to hear a team say, hey, we're going to work on this, instead of like Rumbleverse and some of those other games that just got shut down. Yeah. Being like, hey, we're closing servers in about this many weeks. Or
exactly. Like having hope and being like, hey, we're going to actually make this better because it was loved for so long. A lot of people were like, oh, it's a dead game, already a dead game. It's like, no, I mean, it dropped, but they can come back and they can make it even better. And
what they have is solid. What they have is solid. What they have is better than Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. It did have a level of polish that I think I really liked. That I think if it kept going and if they got really good, they could legit be a competitor with like Brawlhalla and Smash, all that stuff. All those platform fighters that are still getting played, I think it could be up there if they do come back better than ever. So the roster, I think, was a big complaint too. They were adding kind of a couple of the characters they added were kind of odd, and people were like, what? Like, okay, like, you know, there's so many other characters that people want. So I don't know. It's just kind of, that was like a big complaint. Ranked was never a thing. I mean, not that I cared about ranked or anything, but there's just so much quality of life things that were not added and were not balanced. And I think it's cool for them. It's a very transparent thing to do and be like, hey, we're taking a step back.
Yeah.
So I admire the boldness there. So, yep, I'll see Multiverse in 6 months then, because I kind of got to the point where I started removing it from my hard drives on all my platforms anyway. I'm just like, I'm like, this kind of sucks to do because I love this game, but to get a response out of them today, I'm just like, okay, I'll see you again. So
this is not goodbye.
It's not the total see you later. Yep. Yeah, so yeah, I think it's good though. So it was just kind of a trip to see. So yeah, that's gaming news. I know we spent a lot of time there.
Well, we'll get into the movies then. Shelley, what movies have you been watching?
I know we're pretty far in. I won't spend a lot of time here because I didn't watch anything new. I watched Les Mis just because I'm still on a little bit of a musical kick. A couple weeks ago we watched Phantom of the Opera, and Les Mis is my favorite musical. And it just has been a while since I watched the movie. So I got one of my other friends who loves musicals and we watched it together. And it's still good. I mean, obviously it's never going to be as good as theatrical, you know, at Allen Theater. I think I've talked about this before, but it was once again reminding me how it's like, sure, the music isn't itself, like the singing isn't as good as the actual theater professionals. And there's a lot of charm that comes with only theater. And on like sort of the Broadway production, that is, you know, kind of the way to usually experience it. But, you know, making it into a movie, those set pieces and the environments and their costuming and, I mean, even the acting, like, was all just so good, so top notch. It just made me remember how, like, amazed I was when I watched it for the first time back in 2012. I actually got to see an early release of it.
That's awesome.
And so it was really just me and like a room full of other Les Mis fans, and we were all just like seeing that first shot where they're like pulling the ship and there's just water everywhere in this giant ship, and you're just like, oh my gosh, and you're like, whoa. So I just think that's a good example of like, no, it's not going to be the best example of how to necessarily watch a musical or listen to the music. Especially Russell Crowe. He's just not the best singer, but whatever. But it tells the story well. It does have decent music, and the environment set pieces kind of just blow me away. I think that's really cool because they can only do that in movies. They can't really do that on a theater production. So there's that. Then I also watched Monty Python and the Holy Grail, which I have seen before, but it was like, we watched it and I was like, man, it's like, I barely remember this movie. I only remember a couple scenes. And it's because all it is scenes. None of the scenes transition to each other. It's just bit after bit after bit. And I don't know why I didn't remember that aspect. But then I'm like, no wonder I remember nothing from this movie constantly. I just forget half the movie because there's no, like, real plot or real through line. It's just scene and then scene and then scene and then scene and then the movie ends. So, and it is still funny though. But I just thought that was interesting. I'm like, I just don't watch this movie enough. Am I forgetting stuff like that easily? It's like, well, that the movie doesn't do itself any favors in that way. But it is still funny, still entertaining. And I think this time I actually was able to pay attention to all the actors. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's him. That's Arthur. Like, oh yeah, that's Galahad. So I thought, like, actually being able to recognize the actors in other roles, I just never really paid attention to that before. So that was kind of amusing to me as well. But anyway, that's it.
Cool. LJ, what have you been watching?
I didn't get to go see John Wick this week, but I'm going to go see it next week.
Ooh, yeah.
I helped watch my nephew all weekend, so I watched a lot of YouTube, kids YouTube. But the other thing I got him to watch some Netflix, and we watched the movie Home, and it was that 2015 movie with Rihanna is a big part of it.
That's right, I recognize it with the purple alien.
Yes, and so honestly, like, it was just one of those movies that it just kind of flew. I think. I didn't really, it kind of flew by. Like, I didn't really give much attention to it. I don't know. I wasn't watching those kind of movies then, I guess. But it's, Rihanna is in it, and she had a lot of agency in that movie. I don't know if she helped make it or what, but I know she did a lot of music in it, and it was really good. My cousin, his kids, I guess, really enjoy it, and so I showed it to my nephew, and I'd never seen it either. And I'm just like, oh, wow, this is really good. A really good story. It's funny.
It looks really wholesome. I've never seen it, but the trailers, it looks very wholesome.
Even just the ending of the movie is, like, super wholesome, too. It's on Netflix. It's kind of worth a watch. I think it's a DreamWorks movie as well.
I think it is DreamWorks.
But it was good. I was like, wow. Like, I was just like, I feel like this movie is, like, low-key, like, good or just underrated, or I don't know if it just got that much love. I know Netflix did, I think, eventually do some, like, spin-off things of it whenever they got that deal with, like, DreamWorks where they were doing stuff. I like it, though. There was definitely parts I missed, but I feel like I watched a majority of it, and I was just like, wow, yeah, this is good. So I may give it a rewatch just to see, like, the things I missed. But I think it's definitely a wholesome movie that I think I feel like we need today instead of in 2015. I'm like, this is something we need 7 years later, or 8 years later. Dang. Yeah. So that's what I watched. Cool.
Well, I haven't seen anything, so we can get into the movie news.
Sweet. So you had actually mentioned John Wick 4, how you weren't able to see it, but we are very likely in John Wick 5. I think it's not necessarily confirmed, but the director is sort of, like, hinting at that. So, and I think it would be the last one. I'm not sure they're trying to make a sixth one as well. But I
feel like we talked about this before. I thought they did say that they have at least 5 planned.
I think you're right.
So if this next one is the last one, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course, no one's seen yet. We don't necessarily know how John Wick 4 ends, but for those who have already watched John Wick 4,
really good.
Yeah, I've heard it's good. I've never seen John Wick.
I'm gonna find out. I still need to. I need to watch the others. I need to watch the others again. Like, that's what I
don't want to say it's
do.
good, but it's fun.
Yeah, the third one I feel like is kind of like the one that's. I think it gets kind of corny and kind of silly.
Yeah,
but 1 and 2 are, like, really good. But yeah, I really want to watch all of them again before I go see this. So that was also me, like, waiting. Like, I'm going to try to spend this week and just watch the rest before I go see 4.
Nice.
There's also spin-offs coming. We have The Ballerina, which is Ana de Armas. I think it's set in between a couple of the movies. And then we have The Continental, which is also about Ian McShane's character. And the hotel that the movie is, like, kind of centered around. That's coming to a platform. And, yeah, rest in peace, Lance Reddick. Again. His character is so cool in those movies, and I'm just like, oh. So,
yeah.
I'm down for more. If we need at least one more, I think, if they have 5 planned.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see the 4th one. Heard the lighting is phenomenal. So, and I'm weird about lighting. I love when things are lit up cool.
A thing to remember is that the director of John Wick 4 is doing the Ghost of Tsushima movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna get if they get the people to choreograph that have been choreographing these movies, I am down, which I think is gonna happen. Yep. So anyway, we can move on.
Wow. No, that's cool though. The other thing I want to talk about, so we're gonna shift to like Disney. I was gonna say Disneyland, but that's a actual place, a realm of Disney, if you will. But first, we're gonna talk about MCU, and Liv Tyler's coming back, which is crazy. And if you don't really remember Liv Tyler ever being in MCU, if you've watched a lot of MCU and you're like, oh, she was in
pre-Disney.
It was. She was in The Incredible Hulk.
I still like that movie, even though it's not good.
Well, but I just think it's crazy. So she's going to be revising her role, or not revising, reprising her role in the next Captain America movie. So Captain America 4. What's the full title of it? I've already forgotten. New World Order. Yep, thank you. So she's going to be, and I think the leader, is also going to be in it. So it's just like so weird. They're like bringing, but like cool, and I also respect it. They're bringing all these characters back from the Incredible Hulk, which is like, it's just going to be like this weird thing of like explaining what happened to them, why they weren't around, right? I think I just respect it though, because everyone tried to I think including MCU and Disney just tried to forget that movie existed because it didn't do super well. Then obviously they changed the actor for Hulk, which probably also didn't, it was almost like a soft reboot of sorts of like, that was a Hulk movie, but like we're doing something else now. But this is cool because it's just reaffirming like, no, it's part of the MCU.
They still
different
can't
actors,
make
sure.
movies, I think, because of a Universal deal or something. That's the reason why they haven't made like any more Hulk movies.
Mm-hmm. But I just think it's cool. Like they're one thing I do like about the MCU is their ability to dig deep and find random characters, heroes, villains that aren't super well known, and then make them into really cool characters. And here they're doing this, but not with the comics per se. They're doing it with one of their past movies. Which
it's almost like
cool.
They're recognizing where they started, and that probably wasn't the best. But they're like, no, you know what? We're bringing this forward. We're going to recognize all of our imperfections, kind of a thing, hopefully.
No, exactly. So I just think it's cool. Like, hey, good for her and good for them for once, right? Like, MCU's had so many L's recently, I feel like. So I think this is a dub. Although the next piece of news goes back to, is just another L. Just another L. Live action, fellas. That's the L of the day. And this time the victim is Aristacats. So Aristacats.
I think you should make it like the Cats movie, the live action, like the.
I hope it's not like that.
Is that didn't go over well. In fact, it was terrible, and
The Lion King didn't.
People didn't like The Lion King either. I mean, I think some people did, but there were a lot of people.
But they were wrong.
Yeah, I think they were wrong. So they're doing it again, and. Granted, I understand the Aristocats isn't quite as beloved as The Lion King. It's not quite as popular. But they still don't need to remake it, per se. Or they don't need to live action it. Because, again, they're cats. It's not going to be live action. It's going to be more CGI crap. And this time they're going to be little cats instead of big cats. And I don't know. We've talked about this so many times, right? How this is so exhausting. But it's like, it just makes me think. They're trying to do another live action cat movie. And they're doing it off of a cat movie that already exists, which is the Aristocats, which is a fine movie aside from the racist cat, which they could just remove. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's a fine movie besides that. It's fine. It's not great even. It's just fine, in my opinion. And then they had The Lion King, right? And they just tried to remake that. But it's like, these are fine movies that already existed. If they really want to do a cat movie, if they really want to do something, why not do something that hasn't been done before? Well, no.
Just kidding.
Don't steal my thunder.
No.
See, this time I had the pun. Isn't that crazy?
There you go.
Jokes on you guys.
Very proud.
Yes.
Well, I was going to talk about
perfect.
Oh, okay. It's only funny when I say it. But they should just do, and I know it's not owned by Disney, so that's why they can't do it. But theoretically, they have so much money. What if they bought the Warriors series? And for anybody my age, even if you didn't read it,
I had no idea what this was.
We were talking about this before, and I think it's legitimately a generation gap that we experience here, because it was an incredibly popular book series that is still going to this day. It started in 2003, so it's actually 20 years old as of this year, which is crazy. I think it was 2003. It might have been 2001. I might be getting it mixed up, but it's a series about cats in a cat world. And they're cat tribes, and they're all cats, okay? They're all cats, which is great. And as far as I'm aware, I don't think there's ever been, like, an official, like, movie or even show for Warriors, which is crazy to me, because it was an incredibly popular series, at least for my generation,
seen
people
this
my age.
cover at one point. This cover,
I'm sure you have.
I'm looking at them now, like I'm seeing Rising Storm, and it just has the cat face on it.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like I've seen this somewhere.
And, like, for me, even, I can even compare it to another animal book series that I was obsessed with, which was called Gardens of the Ga'Hoole. And I don't know if any listeners out there have even heard of it or
I've heard of the movie.
But, yes, that's what I'm saying, is you've heard of the movie. And while it wasn't a very good movie, it was visually gorgeous. And it was somewhat, kind of, that live-action CGI style. But it was still animated enough in their faces. Like, they obviously weren't real owls. Because it was a book about owls. I don't think I mentioned that. It's an owl book. They're all owls.
I think I remember those.
But it's like I remember specifically, like, they gave... Soren is the main character. He's a barn owl. And if you know what barn owls look like, their eyes are just kind of like black, like blank. There's no, like, pupils. But what they did is they gave these barn owls in the movie pupils, specifically because it's really hard to show emotions without pupils. Like, it's just difficult to do. And they made, like, you know, the faces be able to contort and the beaks be able to move a certain way that definitely no real owl could do. But they were able to do it, and they did that decision in order to, you know, make every character actually have emotion. So while it's not a very good movie... I think it actually, visually wise, is, like, really good. And that's kind of what they were going for. I even remember the trailers. I don't know if you guys remember the trailers of, like, Soren flying through the rain. And he just looks so cool. And I'm like, this isn't even a scene in the book. I understand. They don't care about the story.
There was even a video game adaptation of the movie,
There was.
I remember playing the demo.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and there was. But all I'm saying is, like, I do even think that there is a way to take kind of that more almost realistic, I wouldn't even say live action, but almost realistic CGI and make it really good. Because while Gardens of the Ga'Hoole movie wasn't good, it wasn't good because, not because of the visuals, it wasn't good because the story, they just didn't adapt it well, the characters were bad. It just wasn't a good adaptation, right? And it's also for a series where they're just doing the first book, and that's going to make things weird too. Anyway. Not a great movie, but if you were to go, like, look up trailers, you're going to see exactly what I'm saying, right? Where it's, like, visually wise, they nailed it. Like, that's not a problem at all. Whereas Lion King, like, it's hard to see their emotions. They try to make it too realistic. And I just think that if they could take that approach, and if they could apply it to Warriors instead of Aristacats, I'd be happy. But unfortunately, they don't own Warriors. That's just what I want them to do. But they're not going to do that. They're going to do the stupid thing they did with Lion King, and everyone's going to be like, oh my gosh, it's the Aristacats, but they're alive. Stupid.
And I don't know why I want this, but I really do. Homeward Bound. Homeward Bound in that, like, overly realistic looking animation, and I'd be down because they didn't really talk in the movie. They didn't move or anything. They just had narration, so that's all you have to change.
I was gonna say that was already live action.
Yeah, I just want a remake of it. I need to do it again, clean it up.
That's a movie that I think that could.
That could.
Yeah, I think it's more due than Aristacats.
Yeah, it doesn't follow my recipe of is it different? It's just better. Maybe you're right, LJ.
Ooh, changing opinions mid podcast. I don't know if that's allowed.
I'm like,
maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
The rules of a remake are very vague. It's hard to define. And I just think Aristocats doesn't need it. I think all they need to do is re-release it, take out the racist cat, call it good. That's all they need to do, honestly. But they're not going to do that. They're going to do the stupid...
Make him a
they're going to do the stupid
cat
Lion
King
King
to race cars
thing, and it'll be bad. Thomas O'Malley will probably be voiced by frickin' John Mulaney or something. I don't know. I can't think of
John
a good
Mulaney,
example
Chris
of who
Pratt,
it'd be.
Tom Holland.
It'd probably be frickin'... It wouldn't be... he's not goofy enough. He's too cool. It wouldn't be... Even though they're like, oh, he's too cool. Chris Pratt's not very cool. I don't think it would be Chris Pratt. It wouldn't be Tom Holland.
They'd get some older actor.
Yeah. Who would they do?
Will Arnett.
Oh, wow. That's like...
It's perfect.
I guess so. Man. I just feel like they're going to do the same thing, right? Though it's like they're going to get all these like really famous actors who may or may not even be good at voice acting. Because
good at voice acting. And Will Arnett voice acts and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
I don't know if I'm tired of Will Arnett, though.
Well, you will be with the Aristocats. We can move on. Disney infuriates me sometimes.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll move on then. We'll get into TV.
Yeah.
I haven't really watched a lot of TV either. I think I'm doing this thing where I need to watch something. I was been saying I'm going to watch something and I haven't watched it, so I'm not even watching anything.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Because
I know
I can't watch anything until it's
I do
paralysis.
that. I do that. Yeah, definitely.
I really want to watch My Hero Academia. And a lot of people have been telling me to do it for years. And so I'm like, I'll get to it, but I haven't watched anything because of that. Besides Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
And Into the Bad Batch as well. But Into the Bad Batch is just kind of... I'm in a weird spot on that show. Mandalorian, real good. LJ.
Yeah.
That's our update.
Yeah, so...
It's slow. Nothing's
so
happening.
apparently we're already halfway through the season, which also kind of scares me.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Like, things need to happen at this point. Like, I mean, not that stuff isn't happening, because that's the argument that's being said right now. Oh, nothing's happening. There is stuff happening. I think we're just... my theory is that we're kind of in, like, a Marvel show kind of phase with this season, where I feel like the stuff that is happening is going to get really answered in, like, the last 2 episodes.
Yeah, Marvel got really bad about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like these kind of slow episodes, and then the last episode or... Yeah, something like the very
it's
last
like,
episode.
Oh, crap, we realized we didn't have enough episodes to work with, so let's just kind of...
Yeah, time to clean up, then it's over, and you're
somebody
like, wow,
grab the broom, grab the broom, put some of this into the pan, and put some of this under the rug.
Which I don't really understand why they're doing that. I don't think it creates any... Like, it doesn't create good TV to do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, maybe it's budgeting, and they think, like, maybe it's cheaper to do it that way, but... Because I would rather... There's so many storylines that are going on right now in Mandalorian that you could focused on one, and I would have been like done that one well.
Yeah,
and it would have been really interesting to me.
Yeah.
But the episodes that we are having, it's still kind of Monster of the Week in a lot of ways, and I am kind of for it. Like, it's still fun. Mandalorian is goofy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm still
don't take it
enjoying
seriously anymore.
Yeah, it's getting to the point where it's like, I'm like, is this actually just fan fiction?
Yeah, it's just campy, like Star Wars.
But I mean, hey, David Filoni and Jon Favreau are like huge fans anyway.
Which we knew that when getting into it. I guess I just kind of forget. Maybe just watching Andor had me spoiled a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, we had that episode in the first season where the stormtroopers are shooting a can and missing.
Yeah.
And it's like, is this a Star Wars, or is this like
yeah,
like a dub of something, like a abridged?
Mm-hmm.
It's the show is strange.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to give anything away, but like that first episode really set the tone of how campy this season.
Oh yeah.
With the villains of that first episode, it was just so silly. It looked like they just pulled outfits from another movie genre and threw them on some aliens.
I feel like with Boba Fett, the camp was bad, but I'm like, if you kind of lean into it and you're kind of aware of it, then I think it makes it a little bit better.
Yeah, maybe that's why we didn't like Boba Fett. We're kind of okay with Mandalorian. Mandalorian's been campy. Yeah. Boba Fett in Mandalorian wasn't campy though. Boba Fett in Mandalorian was really cool the whole time.
It's true.
Yeah,
we got
like excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. to be this like assassin. We're like, oh, this is gonna be great, and then not assassin, but
just cool.
He almost was horror-esque.
He's kind of an old man mob boss kind of thing who just got made fun of because he didn't do anything.
Like I was really hoping for like the Godfather Star Wars edition.
Yep.
And when we got to Boba Fett, it was maybe even more campy than Mandalorian had been. We're like, this isn't the Boba Fett that you introduced us to.
Yeah.
We want scary Boba Fett that is like wrecking shop on people.
Yeah.
Yep. Mandalorian, it gets a pass. They can have. We'll go back to Boba Fett's thing because that's not much of a spoiler. The '80s rock moped gang.
Yeah.
So funny. But I still recommend it. Mandalorian's great.
Yeah.
Grogu is so good.
Oh yeah.
And there's a cool cameo that I don't want to give away, but I guess that was 2 episodes ago, wasn't it?
No, it was.
That was this episode.
This was this one.
Yeah,
Yep.
super cool cameo. A character from original Star Wars getting a little bit of redemption. An actor, not a character. Pretty cool. That's all I've seen. So go ahead, LJ. What have you watched?
Speaking of old man mob bosses, I started watching Tulsa King.
Okay.
I mean, he's not really a boss in the show, I guess, but I didn't realize apparently Paramount Plus showed up on PlayStation like 2 months ago in December, or I guess that's 3 months now.
I didn't know that. Okay.
But I started watching it because I was like, oh, there's so much shows I want to watch on here, but I didn't want to have to switch to my smart TV, like I just watch everything on my console. But Tulsa King is pretty cool. It's the first it's only got 1 season. It's Sylvester Stallone. It's nice to see him play somebody other than an action hero like Rocky or like Rambo. He plays a really good. I like his character. They do the thing that it's like, oh, old man can't do technology kind of a thing. But also it's just him. It's very much a fish out of water story where it's like, oh, he's this New York mob boss guy that gets sent to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and it's kind of it's not like amazing. Like I'm not gonna tell people, oh, they should go like pay for Paramount for this, but it's a fun show. I could see definitely if it was on like primetime television somewhere. It's pretty cool. He's just one of those guys that's like, I'm gonna walk in this place and punch somebody or do something to somebody so that way I can just have the thing that I want. Or like goes into a dealership. I need a car. Oh, let me beat this person up. Okay, gets car. It's kind of silly in that way. Yeah, but it's good. It's a fun watch. I feel like I needed to watch something else other than like TMNT and stuff like that. I mean, not that I'm not, but my nephew literally, my parents got home from like something they done on Saturday morning, and he goes, he's like, oh, my stepdad watches this show, and he's like, and he literally burned me. He goes, wait, you watch adult shows? And I'm like, oh, the dude, and he's 6 years old, and goes, you watch adult shows? Like, oh man, because like I'm watching Star Wars, I'm watching Ninja Turtles. Every time he wants to play Sonic, I'm taking the Ninja Turtles DVD out of my PlayStation. I'm just like, oh. No, but Tulsa King's good. Lastly, the other thing I'm watching, it's only an episode into the last season, but Ted Lasso is really good. This episode felt much more Ted Lasso than the first one. First one felt like, hey, this is the final season, we're going to deal with some stuff. But then this second episode is just... Not that the first one wasn't wholesome, but this one was just like all the way. Yeah, so Ted Lasso is a really good show for those who have not watched it. I highly recommend it. If you can get a trial for Apple TV or something when this season ends and just binge through all 3 seasons, like, do it. It's good. So, yeah, I watched a lot of TV as well, so that's it. Yeah.
Cool. And Shelley?
I'm still watching Ancient Magus Bride. It's still good, thankfully. And
Nice.
We haven't finished season 1, but I guess season 2 is coming out very soon. I think early April, which I didn't realize it was not out yet. I didn't realize it was coming out soon. So I'm like, wow, this is actually pretty timely. We decided to watch when we did, because pretty much I'm thinking by the time we finish this first season, second season will be either out or almost out. So that's great, because I'm tired of watching shows that don't have an end yet. like Spy X Family and Kaguya-sama. Like, I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of waiting for the next season. Like, Cowboy Bebop was great because it was just one thing. It's done. It's done. It's over. But either way, I'm still enjoying Ancient Magus Bride. Just once again, still just seeing like those cool like themes coming through, and I just think like it's almost like that first episode is like misleading because of how things are going now with the show. But it's like I think it's misleading in a good way. The first episode kind of almost tricks you into thinking, oh, it's gonna be this kind of show, okay, and then it's like totally not. It's way more wholesome, and it really just is about the protagonist. I kind of thought there'd be like this huge like, and there is obviously like this connection between the protagonist and the ancient mage, sort of like the monstrous mage who sort of takes care of her. His name's Elias. Her name's Chise. But it really is like about Chise. Like it really is about her, and it's interesting. This is like sort of interesting dynamic of like he's teaching her magic, and she's learning all this stuff about herself, not just from him, but like from like other people and from other parts of like the world and other things. But then he's learning from her because he doesn't really understand human emotions very well. So she kind of gets to teach him like what is it to be human, and that's kind of cool. It's a good dynamic. So yeah, still good.
Nice.
We will get into the TV news then. We'll kind of run through these quickly. Dragon Prince, one of our favorite TV shows, I feel like, as a podcast.
I think, yeah.
I'm a little bit behind, but I really enjoy it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's great. So we have season 5 releasing sooner than I think any of us thought. We had to wait years between the last season and the one before it. Season 5 will be coming out summer 2023, so that's pretty recent.
Yeah, and I think they're from the teaser, not teaser per se, but just like the little image that they put out. It looks like they're maybe going to be doing the Storm or Sky. I don't remember the same or different. Like it's one of those shows where it's very reminiscent of Avatar, where they're like kind of going seeing all the different like parts of
books.
Yeah, parts
region.
of different elves in the different regions. So last season was like the Earth sort of area, and I think this time they're doing either Storm or Sky. I'm not really sure, but Nyx is back, and she was in season 1 or 2. I'm trying to remember. I don't think 3. I think it was 1 or 2. And she was in it very briefly. And if you don't remember her, she did the Wonderwall reference, so you probably remember now. Because everyone remembers the Wonderwall reference.
I need to rewatch the whole show, I feel like. It's been a while.
Yeah, I just want it to be...
I can definitely watch it all.
Yeah, I just want season 5 to be, like, good, because I didn't hate season 4 like a lot of people did, but a lot of people did. And there were... Yeah, it was meh, and there's just some decisions they made. I'm still kind of mad with how they treated the whole graphic novel thing of, like, something big happened in the graphic novel, and then I'm like, okay, cool, well, I've read this, but, like, how's it going to handle for those who haven't read this, and how is this going to get sort of resolved? And it kind of just doesn't in season 4, and I'm like, well, maybe they will do it in season 5, but even then, it feels a little too late for me, so, I don't know. But I think I'm kind of glad that's going to be coming out so soon, because it really sort of reinforces that season 4 probably definitely was just set up. And it could be that they're, the first 3 seasons are very much like a trilogy, right? Like it's like this one set thing.
She was in season 3.
Really? I swear it was season 1 or 2. I swear.
That's what the wiki says. It doesn't mean it's correct.
No, you're probably right.
It's like your teacher's telling you don't use Wikipedia back in the day. It's not
accurate. I mean, those first 3 seasons were like one big long show.
Yeah.
It felt like it's... And then season 4 feels like a sequel show.
I think that was part of it, is season 3 was so epic.
I think I'm early. Yeah. I think I'm like on the first episode of season 3. I think last I watched something early on. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But anyway, so I just want it to be like really good. I don't know if it's necessarily going to hit the high highs that season 3 did. It doesn't like need to, but I just want it to be... I don't know. There's definitely some disappointing things in season 4. I didn't hate it, but there were disappointing aspects, and I'm hoping that this season is less disappointing.
I assume it will be. I think that they'll get back on track. I think they just needed to regain their footing after COVID.
So long, yeah. It was a while.
We also get some news about Daredevil.
Yeah.
One is just a set photo, but it's of Kingpin. wearing clothes that to me look oversized, and I don't understand if that's like a story thing or if it'll be like a story thing or if it's just like CGI or why he looks the way he does. I see a lot of comments saying that he's going to be a mayor, the mayor or running for mayor in this, and that'll be really interesting. But I'm also really curious. We don't know when this takes place. LJ, you believe that it takes place during the snap.
I saw some articles that claim it's supposed to take place during the blip, but I'm taking those with a grain of salt. I don't truly believe that yet. Because if they can explain...
Not to give too much away for Hawkeye, that would kind of... The ending of Hawkeye makes things kind of confusing timing-wise. We don't really know what happened. Hopefully this answers that.
And then also that cameo in Spider-Man.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think hopefully that would be neat is if this took place in a time where it does answer those questions.
Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. That would make more sense than... I don't know if we really need the gold and red, the mustard yellow outfit from She-Hulk.
I'm curious to know what that's all about still. It was a cool nod. To the comics.
We'll
I liked it just as a fan, but I'm like, well, yeah, we'll see.
But it's mustard yellow.
It is.
They even make fun of it in the show.
Mm-hmm.
The other piece of news coming out of Daredevil is that season 2, according to D'Onofrio, who plays Kingpin, season 2 is happening. So that's not confirmed by Disney or Marvel yet, but if D'Onofrio's talking about it, it's probably happening. Which is crazy. I understand, it makes more sense hearing that it's an actor giving it away and not Disney or Marvel, because Disney and Marvel
reminds me of when Cal Dodd
really talk about sequels.
Yeah, I was going to say, that reminds me of when Cal Dodd told me at the Comic-Con last year. He was like, yeah, I'm already recording voice lines for season 2 of X-Men 97. And I'm like, oh, I don't think I'm supposed to know that. But, okay, I'm down. I haven't even seen the first season yet, but I'm down.
That's crazy that he gave it away. I've been to a lot of Comic-Cons. I've watched a lot of panels.
Yeah.
Where people have tried to trap people into...
No, he was just like, nope, yep. He's like, so many episodes this year. And then, but yeah, so it's kind of funny just having... Vincent D'Onofrio saying that. I'm just like, yeah, I feel like I've been in that position before where this actor has just been like, oh yeah, we're doing more.
I remember I saw Kevin Conroy Denver Comic Con and someone, spoilers for the Arkham series.
Yeah.
They were like, how are Arkham movies going to proceed if you're going to die in the next game?
Yeah.
And I don't know where they knew that from or where they were guessing. And Kevin Conroy was like, do I die in the next game? I don't know. I don't know where you got that information. He was so flustered that you had to wonder.
That's
he was
That's awesome.
But people will ask questions at Comic-Cons all the time that are just kind of like, how do you feel about this rumor? As though it's facts, to see if they'll respond to it.
Yep.
As if because a lot of times these actors don't know things until we know things. Unless, of course, they're recording.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Cool. Good stuff. Very excited. I'm excited for Daredevil. Still curious about how they're gonna make so many episodes. I think.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
I'm down. I'm buckling up.
That's where we'll end the podcast. You guys geeking out about anything else this week?
I think that's it.
Cool. Shelley, where can they find you at?
You can find me on Twitter at TheShellshock24.
And LJ.
You can find me at LJ the Paladin on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitch.
Cool. And you can find me on Instagram at Cody Armour. I will be streaming, I believe, this Wednesday. As the podcast comes out, I will not be streaming next week. I'll be in California. But check out my Instagram, and I will probably post California pictures. I'm excited.
Sweet.
Vacation. All right. We'll keep gaming, keep praying, and God bless.
Bye-bye.
Peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. We love hearing from you, so feel free to ask us questions or just comment on the show by using the hashtag GUGcast on Twitter, or by joining the GUGcast questions channel in the Geeks Under Grace Discord. If you like this episode, consider leaving a review or rating of our show on your favorite podcast app. If you want even more Geeks Under Grace, you can always go to geeksundergrace.com. We love you all so much, so thank you for listening.